Welcome to the Merick Ulrik podcast. In this episode, Cleave and I review the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight and the Rings of Power Season 2. Check it out. It's a fun talk. Hope you enjoy the show. Friend, I'm sorry I had a long absence. I had problems with my website. I've had car troubles. I've had all kinds of troubles. Maybe that's because I'm not a millionaire. I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay? No, I'm not.
You're not? I used to be a
I
millionaire. I used to be a
yeah,
millionaire.
I
Darn
hear you.
hookers. Stupid
That'd be my
hookers.
first problem if I had $1 million too. There's always this. There's always the Philippines or, Philippines or Vietnam or I don't know. Those are good places to visit. Anyways, we're talking about the fight tonight. We had watched Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, and I will say it's kind of like professional wrestling a little bit. They pumped it up really big, but I think they always knew what was going to happen. A 58-year-old man fighting a 27-year-old, even if he was even if he was the champion, what in his day he was the youngest champion. He was already spent, so the Vegas odds were against Tyson from the beginning. But it was a good.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the build up was better than the actual show, but it was entertaining. It was entertaining.
Oh,
Yeah,
time waits
but
for
there
no
were some
man.
other fights that went on that night that actually were better than the Mike Tyson Paul fight. But the thing is that I think maybe that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to showcase boxing. So Paul actually put boxing on a bigger stage than it has been in a while. The Ramos Maria fight was really good. It was a no decision, which is very hard to find where it's a tie in boxing. That was a very hard fought fight. Very hard fought. And the Taylor Serrano fight was very controversial because a lot of people thought Serrano won that fight, and they thought she won the last fight. And after the headbutting controversy, it was like, it's going to add to that. Um, it's going to add to that controversy. So, but I enjoyed it. Like the two fights before Tyson and Paul were very entertaining and very like you didn't know who was winning. Unfortunately, I mean, like you can't put somebody out there who's I couldn't fight a boxing match. I'm 46, if I can remember my age right. I'm not training for boxing, so it wouldn't be a thing. So, but to have a 58-year-old man go out there and fight a 27-year-old man, gonna lose probably.
Well, I'm 56, and yeah, it would have been bad. As a matter of fact, the 58-year-old
I
man
mean,
could have
Mike
beat me
Tyson could beat me
pretty
right
easily.
now, and I'm 46 or whatever. But I mean, just
Yeah.
saying, like for age wise, somebody who's trained to be a boxer, it's not going to be a thing. So it was a cool event. I was excited about it, but I think the build up. I think Tyson was about to cash a check, pretty much. And he knew that. They're friends, and they actually approached some other events. So actually,
Yeah.
the Taylor Serrano fight was actually probably more important than the Tyson Paul fight, but it wouldn't have been visible to a lot of us people if if they didn't have that fight with Tyson and Paul. It was ridiculous, kind of like a Barnum and Bailey kind of thing. It's a good promotion, you know. Like how do we promote our books to like Barnum and Bailey and Tyson and Paul? Figure that out. I don't know.
Don't know, but well, Mike Tyson. They did ask him if he was done, and he was like, he didn't think so. He was like, he's got another fight in him
I
probably.
think he doesn't
So
want
I
to
don't know.
admit that he's done because he's prideful. Not in a bad way. He's just kind of prideful. But I just felt like Paul didn't annihilate him, but also I feel like they're friends. I felt like it was just kind of staged a little bit. Like I don't think Paul was trying to take him out,
Mm.
but then again, who knows? Maybe Tyson would have took him out if he had a chance. I don't know.
Well, if it had been an opening, they
Yeah,
either one probably would have
it was
taken it.
very slow defensive
But
fight. It wasn't
hmm.
really.
But I think you're probably right. I think that Paul probably took a little easy on him, and it was probably somewhat set up.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah, it
okay.
was.
It was
I
entertaining.
was I was rooting for Tyson as everybody was probably rooting for him, but it was a good fight. So, all right, so the Tyson fight went to Paul, but so what else have you been up to, man? Cleve, we haven't had a podcast in a few weeks.
Well, I've been working on book two, the second Gunpowder Magic and Lead book. It's called Guns, Grimoires, and Glory, and I've been working on it. It's a completely different story, same characters basically, just kind of moving along. It's kind of all those books are kind of have a standalone story in them, and they just kind of move on into the next. I mean, it's got a kind of an overarching thing, but the main story is different. So I've been working on that. I actually have been working on developing that
Right.
story more than writing it. So, and it is surprising though. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Well, I've been writing the second book in the Gunpowder Magic and Lead series. It's not called the Gunpowder Magic Lead series. It's actually called Wizards, Witches, Wizards, and something. I can't think of my own title. Witches, Wizards, and Weapons. There it is. Anyway, book two. I've been working on book two. Each one of the books has its own story. Beginning, middle, and end. It has an overarching, but each one has their own story. So same characters, different book. Kind of further along. So, and I've been working my grammar books, working on a second version of those. And other than that, that's about it. And teaching like normal.
That's cool. Well, I had my narrator just finish narrating Brothers of Chaos Part 2. And he's great. He's
I
amazing.
still
I
haven't
feel
listened to
so
part
bad.
one.
No, but his name is Ryan Oliver Jones, and he's great. He's really good. And he just finished doing Part 2 of Brothers of Chaos, and it's really good. It's just Amazon is kind of like just screwing narrators right now. I'll be honest with you, because they've been doing a sale for the last 2 months for 99 cents on pretty much everything, except for artists like Brandon Sanderson or something like that, because they have their books priced at like $39 or something like audiobooks.
Yeah.
But your independent authors are priced at 99 cents without any control over that. Fortunately, the ebooks, like when we publish ebooks, we can control our prices. But so that's kind of bad. But it's been a crazy last couple of months or whatever. Sorry, I'm a little buzzed from watching the Jake Paul fight with Tyson. I've been celebrating a little bit, but it's been a good night. But yeah, the audiobooks thing is it kind of sucks. So I hope maybe I'll think about this a little bit, but it does help your book get better algorithm for for your ebook, but it doesn't really help for the audiobook sales. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It helps to have it there. I feel bad for the narrators too because they're not getting royalty share very much. So I hope like some people feel like maybe the generation of AI is taking over. I don't know. What do you think about that, Cleve?
I think it probably is something like that. I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Um,
It's fine. I did not easily offended.
you've been celebrating some pretty hard. It seems like tonight. I mean, with the fight going on, I can understand. Anyway, I forgot what you asked me. I'm just
No, I was
laughing at
saying
you.
like
So.
Amazon is actually like
Yeah, yeah,
hindering
yeah, yeah.
artists. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
really
it's ACX is who it is. The branch of Amazon that does the audiobooks. Yeah, but we're the whipping boys. I feel like the independent authors are kind of the whipping boys of Amazon. They give everything pretty much to the trad publishers. The traditional publishers. I think the traditional audiobooks, those they give them, when you're talking about the keywords and things like that. I think they give them the best keywords, and we're not allowed to put things like other authors in our keywords and stuff like that, but I think they can. I'll have to tell you one time in my Discord group that I'm in, one time Amazon messed up and they exposed all the keywords, and we got to see them. We screenshotted them. So, and they do some pretty crazy stuff with the keywords that we're not allowed to do, but traditional publishers can. So I think we're kind of second fiddle anyway, in some ways.
I would agree with that a little bit, but I also think like independent publishers actually publish some good stuff. So I mean,
Well,
like, I do like the Brandon Sanderson stuff. I do like his books.
well, the
but
good thing about the self-publishing, of course, is the traditional publishers only pay you twice a year, and they don't pay you 70% like we get with Amazon. So we do get the better deal of that. So if you do sell as an independent author, you do make a lot more money, potentially. Because I think the last time I looked, the traditional publishers give you like 12%, and they give you once in like August and once in like February, and that's your 2 paychecks.
yeah,
And they give you advances, but the advances that make you pay them back if you don't meet your advance. So I mean, there's
right.
pros and cons on both sides. I don't want to disparage independent authors or say that Amazon's bad. It's not. There's pros and cons on both sides. Is what I'm trying to say.
But I also think that people who publish books wide or not even wide, but like traditional publishing, having your books in stores, there are some people that don't buy ebooks; they only buy physical books.
Right.
I don't. Who are those people? I want to know, and like, how can I get my books in there? And also, we're talking about we're going on a rabbit trail here about publishing and stuff, but I think that Barnes and Nobles, like in my area, is the only real physical bookstore that there are left after us. Like the lone survivor. There are also local bookstores.
We got half
like,
price books in Houston.
yeah, small bookstores too that have some stuff and half price books. But half price books is half price books. They're not really they're it's kind of used bookstore.
Yeah, basically. We do have some small local ones around here in the Amarillo area. But we have Barnes and Noble. Places like Borders and B. Dalton and all those, they're all gone. Walden Books, remember Walden Books? Those are all.
I do.
Those are all
I do
over
remember
with
that.
now. Those are all in like malls. I haven't been to a mall in years.
But they're gone though. There's no malls now, really. I mean,
The malls
are
are
there?
falling
I don't
apart.
know.
They're all going away
The
too.
big malls, yes. There's the big malls,
Yeah.
I guess. Like they have Sears and they have
No, I don't think they have.
clo-
Well, we don't even have
clothing
Sears
store.
anymore.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Like I said, I haven't been to a mall in years.
But I want to say, look, going back to Audible, Ryan Oliver Jones did a great job on Brothers of Chaos Part 2. I'm going to send you a free copy,
Yeah.
Cleve. I really want you to
I
listen
want
to it. Listen to Brothers of Chaos Part 1 and Part 2. It's like I'm the author, so I'm a little biased, but his performance was really good. It was like so entertaining. Like you brought the characters to life. Really good. But the sad thing is like with 99-cent prices and you're getting a 20% royalty, what incentive do you have to keep doing that? It's a really low incentive
Yeah.
unless you're getting millions of views.
So
How do you do
I don't have many audiobooks on ACX. My audiobooks are AI, and they're on Amazon, which I get to set the price on actual Amazon. But do they pay you like how much they pay you percentage wise?
20%?
So you get like what, 20 cents?
Yeah, out of 99. That's an average. If you pay the narrator to do it, then you can get a 40% commission of 99 cents. So it's 40 cents or 39
But
cents.
you only get
whatever it
20 of that, and they get 20
Yeah, exactly.
per sale.
If you pay them, then you don't split the royalty.
Right. Yeah.
So the royalty is 40%, 60% Amazon. But it seems like a high percentage for Amazon. It's not fair, really.
Yeah.
Anyways, talking about gloomy stuff, let's change the subject to something more exciting. Let's go to talk about the Rings of Power.
Oren Knox, a wizard from a bygone era, has seen the world transform. Magic, once abundant, is now rare, overshadowed by the rise of steam engines and firearms. Yet Orin's power remains undiminished, so long as he can find the elusive earth nodes that fuel his magic. To locate these precious sources of power, wizards rely on Diabolists, female magic users with the ability to detect earth nodes. Orin Knox has tracked down one of the most gifted Diabolists, and she's being pursued by Dr. Henry Branson, a vengeful madman intent on eradicating wizards and Diabolists to avenge his wife's death. With the Diabolist's life in peril, Orin, along with his trusted friend Tobias Kane, must protect her from Branson's relentless pursuit. At the same time, Orin races against the clock to find the Earth nodes he desperately needs. His wife's life hangs in the balance, trapped under a deadly curse that only powerful magic can break. Read Gunpowder, Magic and Lead, a weird fantasy adventure, available on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. Have you read The War Drums of Canth by Merick N.H. Ulrik, a high fantasy dwarven military fantasy? The War Drums of Canth. It's long been known that the Viclogs are the last stand of freedom in the land of Delantia, and the treachery of the Blood Queen. The dwarves settled the land long before she rose to power, but they were not the first inhabitants of the Viclogs. Orcians, trolls, kobolds, and even fouler creatures ruled the land. Only a dwarf would be obstinate enough to persist amongst such dangers. Now they face their greatest danger of all. Will they unite or perish? Before the tales of Vandrin the Valorian, and before the mighty drunken swordsman Gunnar Bannerbur, 1,000 years peace reigned in the Viclogs. But before that time of peace was 1,000 years of war. Dwarven clans warred against each other for power and control of the land. Political alliance and plots and old grudges from 800 years of feudalism keep the region in turmoil. But will a growing Orcian threat unite or destroy them? This is epic fantasy, military fantasy, high fantasy, and dark fantasy. The War Drums of Camp by Merick N.H. Ulrik. Now on Amazon Kindle Unlimited.
That's fine.
All right, we're back from the break, and we're talking about the Rings of Power. So, Cleave, did you get to watch the Rings of Power?
I did. I watched all 8 episodes.
No, we're talking about season 2, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Season 2.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but did you see the season 1?
I did. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I did. I didn't. Not recently, but yes, I have seen season 1.
Okay, so we're talking about season 2. You want to lead off, Cleave?
Sure. All right. So, when we were in preparation for this podcast, I was kind of feeling like I was late. So about, I don't know, on a Wednesday or so, I started watching like back to back. So a lot of them are kind of running together for me. But I will admit that the first few, like 3 episodes or so, there's a couple of them that I think I kind of dozed off a little bit. I'm saying that because I think I'm trying to say that they were a little bit draggy, kind of a little bit boring at the beginning. The season did pick up a little bit later. Looking at, I'm looking at my other screen over here. Once we knew who Sauron was, and he started working with Celebrimbor and getting the rings, made. I kept wanting to. I guess. How do I put this? I guess I kept wanting to see, because he made the One Ring in secret, so I keep wanting. I keep thinking that we're gonna see him like making the One Ring, but the season ended up being about trying to get Celebrimbor to make the 9.
But we don't even know if he made the ring of the One Ring after. So we don't know if
yet.
Maybe ever.
Yeah, and of course the Dwarven stuff, like the Dwarven King, where he put the ring on and he was.
By the way, this is full spoilers.
Yeah,
No, this is just like full frontal spoilers.
Yeah, it's full spoilers.
It's gonna ruin your mother's breakfast.
But anyway, I was looking at the first three. Okay, I think everybody knew already from the end of season one that who the stranger was going to be. I don't know. We want to say it out loud?
Yeah, he says at the end.
Grand Elf.
I'm Gandalf.
Yeah,
Whatever.
he's the Grand Elf, and he's like Gandalf. And him trying to find his staff. I was kind of confused about that. I mean, I know what they were trying to do, but I was kind of like, okay, he's just like bumbling around and having dreams and trying to find his staff. It's like, okay.
Well, you're getting really far ahead.
Yeah.
So let's talk about episode 1.
Okay, you want to do it episode by episode?
So Sauron caused the Ice Age when Sauron's life force ended. But then he died and he turned into a spaghetti form. And that form ate rats and bugs and eventually ate a human and he became human. So basically, Sauron has the ability to become spaghetti. Basically, no. Basically, like, they killed Sauron and that caused Mordor to become ice.
Yeah.
You know? And the actor playing Sauron was Charlie Vickers. They had a different person playing him for a second or two. What I have written down here is that gender neutral Lord Elrond was he tried to stop them from using the rings.
Yeah.
He tried to stop them, but they didn't listen to him, right? And dumb Gandalf and the Irish hobbits ate bugs coming from a tree. Yeah, that's what happened.
Is this episode 1? Are you still on episode 1?
Yeah, episode 1, where they're trying to tell you it's okay to eat bugs. It's like,
okay, I was doing more of an overview. I didn't take like notes on every single episode, but
no, I did. I'm a very detailed.
Okay.
So the Irish hobbits, the Irish female hobbits, showed dumb Gandalf where to go, and gender neutral Elrond doesn't want to use the rings, which Sauron made for them. He's a smart guy. Apparently, gender neutral Elrond was right.
Yeah.
So,
well, they did have the rings did actually do things.
Yeah, they could help things, prove things.
Mm-hmm.
Then see episode 2. A mountain is like a person. Sing to it, and it will let you know where to turn to or something. I don't remember what I wrote down, but basically the dwarven elf females are good singers, but honestly, I don't like their singing. Their singing sucks.
Oh,
I'm just
yeah,
saying,
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Where they're trying to sing to the mountain to get the light back.
Yeah. But I will say the visual of Khazad-dûm was good. I like the world building scenes of Khazad-dûm. The visuals of Khazad-dûm was actually pretty good. I like the visuals.
Well, the visuals of the whole series is good. Too bad the story isn't as great.
But let me tell you about some visuals that are not so good. Dwarven nose hair.
Oh yeah.
Did we need to see that much nose hair?
No, and if you notice
that should have a PG 29-17.
If you notice the female dwarf, she has a kind of a beard,
kind of like sideburns. Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to have a full beard, according to the lore, but she has like a, I was like,
Yeah, but the dwarven nose hair, I mean, really, was really good.
Yeah, that's a little bit off there.
So, anyways, for episode 2, I don't have a whole lot of notes on that, but basically, I mean, it was okay. I tried to watch it. It wasn't really.
I think that's the episode I fell asleep in.
Yeah, he seduces Celebrimbor to make the 9 rings for the 7 rings for the dwarves, and that. It was what I kind of expected to be, but it was like a slow-moving thing. There's a wicked spider fighting scene in episode 3. That's what I had noted. And,
we're on episode 3 now?
Episode 3, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Isildur, a guy who I don't really like that much because he had one chance to destroy the ring forever. Remember
Yeah.
that? The Rings of Power? But he's still a person in the series that we're supposed to like.
Right.
But yet, he kept the ring.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like a, hey, asshole, why didn't you destroy the ring? Like, Frodo wouldn't have had to do nothing. We've been fine. Just throw it throw it in the fiery chasm from whence it came. But he didn't.
Well, see,
Isildur.
I think the reason why I'm kind of having trouble with it, because I was doing an overview, but the reason why I didn't is because I don't believe this is Lord of the Rings. To me, it's not. It's just it's a fantasy, and it's actually kind of a good fantasy, but it's not Lord of the Rings. To me,
It's like Scooby Doo or
to
something.
me, it's
like
like
that.
I don't know. It's like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's
What if?
yeah. Well, yeah, kind of. It's like I don't know. I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Um, it's like
What if directors and writers had no ideas, and so it would just cannibalize great
well,
stories?
what I think happened. What I think. Okay, so Lord of the Rings has the recognition, right? And it's going to have like a
Yeah.
built-in audience. So I think what they were doing is they wanted to have a fantasy series on Amazon, and so they did Lord of the Rings, but they didn't really want to do Lord of the Rings. You see what I'm saying? And so I think they ended up doing a fantasy, but they couldn't really not do. They had to do something that was recognizable, otherwise no one would watch it. Because hardly anybody watches an unknown fantasy, unfortunately. I mean, there's a few people like me that would.
No
But
way. Nobody watches unknown fantasy authors.
that's the problem. They need to. Everybody needs to do that.
Yeah.
But so I think that part of that's that, and part of it I think sometimes I wonder: are these people actually reading Tolkien? Do they actually know Tolkien? It's like I don't know.
It seems like AI is writing the story. In my
Somewhat, yeah,
opinion.
somewhat. I mean, it's not Lord of the Rings. I mean, but how can they do actual Lord of the Rings? I mean, not even Peter Jackson did pure Lord of the Rings.
Actually, yeah. But to me, it's like because I'm so biased because I watch the Lord of the Rings every week, like a church service. Okay,
Yeah,
so I watch Hobbit once a year, the whole trilogy, but I probably watch Fellowship of the Rings, Two Towers, and Return of the King easily once a month. I do. I'm a weirdo. Okay, I have a problem. I know. I
when
admit I
it
have a
first came
problem, but
out,
I
I
do
think
it.
I watched it probably once a month for a few years. I haven't done it recently, but and I've watched The Hobbit, and of course I saw all the films like opening night at midnight when they
Yeah.
came out.
Well, I still. So, talking about episode 3, here's a problem I have just from
The Eagle and the Scepter.
sus-
Okay.
sus- suspense of disbelief. Is Isildur gets stabbed in the thigh with like a butcher
Oh
knife
yeah.
that goes about 4 inches deep in his thigh, and then that girl just pulls it out. There's no talk about it later, and like a episode later, he gets stitches, but he didn't bleed out. Like after fighting like a bunch of fucking sorry, I said the f-bomb, but after fighting a bunch of Sauron or Adar loving creeps,
Yeah.
he didn't bleed out from that. Like if you have a butcher
Yeah, it
knife,
was in.
shoved like 4 inches in your thigh, if you don't do something about it, you're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being too legalistic.
No, that it went in really deep. I saw it too. I was thinking, it's like the only thing that was more unbelievable than that was one time I saw a CSI episode where they got what kind of knife it was because they poured a mold in someone's knife wound and pulled out the mold and was like, "Oh, this is what kind of knife it was." And I was like, "Okay, you can't make a mold out of flesh." But anyway, this
Yeah, well, like seep into everything.
yeah, and
else.
it's like that's the only thing that I'd see that was more unbelievable than him getting stabbed with a knife this far into his leg. And yeah, he pulled it out and it was all bloody and everything. It's like, but he didn't bleed out. Yeah, that was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I guess.
And then of course in Numenor they overthrew the queen at this point. Spoiler alert again. And then the eagle comes down and supposedly the other guy, I don't know his name, becomes king or whatever.
I know exactly. Well, I don't know if we're there yet, but like on
That's in episode 3.
4. Oh, it is
Yes,
okay. They found the Palantar or whatever it's called.
the Palantir. Yeah,
Palantir. Yeah. So that happened in episode 3. But I will say,
yeah,
like,
that's episode 3. Because the eagle comes down in episode. It's called the Eagle and the Scepter. Is episode 3.
okay. But my problem is, okay, and this is gonna sound completely like a racist, but I don't understand is because it's the ethnicities of Numenor or whatever. Because, like, okay, if you want to say, like, there are no genders, there are no ethnicities, okay,
Mm-hmm.
ethnicities, but they never explain why the queen is black and the king was white, and we never talk about her mother, so maybe she was black as well. But, like, most of the nationalities of the Numenorians are Caucasian,
Mm-hmm.
so my problem is, like, it doesn't explain that. We're just supposed to just understand, like, there are no ethnicities, I guess, in
Well,
Numenor.
that's one of the things. That is one of the notes I did take. And it wasn't just Numenor. I thought about Khazad-dûm too. It's like these dwarves are underground. Would they be dark skinned underground?
Yeah, I mean, we have, like, look, I
Like
love the
dark elves?
series. I love the series of R.A. Salvatore, the
Yeah, the
Dark Elf,
drow.
and they're all the Drow are dark elves, are the dark skinned elves,
Yeah.
but that's a tribe of elves that live underground. And my thing is, like, it doesn't explain why the Queen of Numenor is a black woman.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Well, everybody else is white, so it doesn't really make sense. Well, she adopted or was?
Yeah.
No, I hate to be that basic.
Well,
I'm just like, it doesn't really resonate, like, to the story for me. I was just in,
well, I was thinking about that too, and I was thinking about how you have mixed races throughout the whole series, the hobbits and everybody. And I was thinking, I think what they're trying to do is it's just like anybody can play the part. There is no white or black or there is no race like that.
that's fine, but it's just, I don't know. Like, I guess that's fine, but nobody does that in any other movies or
Yeah.
anything like that. Pretty much.
Well, the whole thing was taken from like Norse mythology, so which was not, which was predominantly white. So I guess I don't know
Yeah. And also, Tolkien was trying to make a
of
mythology of
England.
England. Yeah. I understand, like, the composition of England now is not completely white. It's fine. I understand that's fine. Like, immigration, whatever, it's fine. But the thing is, like, it's really not explained, so it's
Yeah.
just have to be
Well,
expected.
I don't think that. I think what they're trying to do is just show that there is no. You shouldn't see any kind of color.
Yeah.
The queen is not black. The king is not white. They're just people.
But if we did a history of Africa, a mythology of
No.
Africa, and you had the king as an old white man, how would that offend
Exactly.
people?
Yeah.
So you had the mythology of Africa, like the lore of Africa, and then you had the king of Africa as an old white man. You'd be like,
Yeah.
I would. Some people will be offended. I don't know, or maybe not. Maybe people love
Yeah.
that idea.
If you
I
were
don't
doing
think they
Shaka
would.
Zulu or something, or like a movie like that,
Yeah,
and the predominant players were all white, yeah, that would.
ah,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Mm.
But anyway, so something great about episode 4 is we
This
have a
episode
dark
4's
wizard,
eldest. Okay.
and we have Tom Bombadil, which got axed from the Lords of the Rings. So I kind of feel kind of happy about that, because this is an actual character that was in the Lord of the Rings that never got to be in the Lord of the Rings. So you had old Tom Bombadil with his yellow boots.
Hey do,
Got to be
Mary
in.
do, my bitches.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm kind of happy about that, because, like, I mean, the Tom Bombadil was deleted from the Lord of the
And
Rings.
they
So
really made him look like that cartoonish looking Tom Bombadil that you always see, and you know what I'm
yeah,
talking about, where he has the hat and he's kind of squatty and he's like merrily going
yeah,
along. Hey do,
he
Mary
seemed
do.
very he seemed very merry.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
and I
pretty
think there
good.
was one part where we actually heard Goldberry because he's like, "Are you talking to a woman or somebody?" I heard a woman's voice. He's like, "What? What?" He just kind of ignored him.
That
The
was weird.
Gandalf
Yeah,
guy,
that was weird.
the dumb Gandalf was like, "Did I hear a woman's voice?" And Tom Bombadil was like, "I don't know. I don't think so."
Yeah,
But
that was a weird
yeah,
part.
I was
Yeah,
like,
I
I
didn't
think they
catch
were
that.
trying to say that.
I remember that, but I didn't catch
I
that.
think they were trying to say Goldberry might have been there somewhere or something. I don't know. Goldberry is his female companion. For those who don't know, Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, but it's so not representative
Yeah.
in the.
I thought it was odd, but I think that's what they were trying to do. But yeah.
So Elrond gets to be the commander set off to do this mission. So gender neutral Elrond gets to command Galadriel, and she gets kind of like cut down a little bit, like, oh, I'm the commander. And so that was kind of what it is, whatever. And the Ents show up in the story in this episode too.
No,
And then Galadriel gets captured in episode 4.
no, wait, no. In Eldest, now episode 4, which we're talking about, isn't Gil-galad the king? Isn't he like a badass normally?
He's supposed to be really badass.
He's all
too.
like, "Ooh, I'm a king." You know, he doesn't really do much. You know what I'm saying?
But he does kind of in the end of the like episode 7. He kind of does
battle. Yeah,
episode 7. Yeah, he does kind of do.
but he doesn't seem.
Yeah, but they have their.
You know, when I think of Gil-galad, I'm thinking of like this badass king.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
All right, anyway, go ahead.
No, I don't have much for that episode. I mean, that's the end of what I have for that episode.
Episode
In
5,
5,
Halls of Stone.
they start crafting the rings for the Dwarven Lords.
Yeah.
And
And Durin tries to say, "Oh, I have all these 7 rings that we're supposed to give to all the 7 dwarf tribes, but if you want it, it's going to cost you." And so it gets all this tribute start coming in.
you can see that the ring is corrupting the Dwarven Lord.
Yeah.
That Durin the First.
Yeah,
is corrupting
he
him.
doesn't want to give the rings to the other dwarven families unless they pay some sort of tribute.
Okay, and this is what I don't understand about Rings of Power, because maybe they're going to do that in season 3, but we all know that Isildur was the one that cut off Sauron's hand, that actually the Ring of Power caught to. He chopped. Isildur took his father's sword that was broken,
Narsil.
chopped the ring off, and chopped it off, and then he had that ring or whatever, and he didn't do his job. His one job, Isildur, your one job was destroy the ring.
And you couldn't do it. Well, neither could Frodo.
You had one job, destroy the ring.
Yeah, Frodo couldn't do it either.
Yeah, but the thing is that my thing is, like, he's the son of the king, but we haven't seen his father become king yet and have any kind of nobility at all. He's just a captain. So maybe that's going to be in season 3 where he becomes king or something. Maybe he marries the queen and that makes him the king. I don't know. It makes sense kind of that way. So it's kind of confusing to me because, like, you would think, like, like how England is too. Like, they're very, like, hierarchically, like, I'm just whatever, for bad or worse, they're very nepotized, very nepotism.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not let new people become
There's
kings.
an order.
So.
I don't know what the order is, but there's an order.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see a big upset in season 3 if that comes out. So, episode 6, Don Lemon Legolas, the only capable male in this whole series, the one purely capable male, Don Lemon Legolas.
Yeah, this episode is called "Where Is He?" Okay, good.
He's saving people. He's the one guy. I have his name somewhere. Where's his real name?
Don Lemon.
It's not Don Lemon Legolas, but I have his name somewhere.
That's a good one.
But he's the one capable, the only capable male in the whole show. He never fails. He always saves the day. Well, I'll come to it later, but
yeah,
he always saves the day, and he's angry and he's pissed off. And
because that one woman died that he really liked, right?
Yeah, the female human he liked. But here's another thing about the whole series that I kind of have questions with is that there's no real original ideas. Like, Tom Bombadil reuses Gandalf's wisdom back to dumb Gandalf when he says, "Many that die deserve life,
Yes.
and some that live deserve death.
Yeah.
Who won you to give it to them? Are you the one to give it to them?"
Yeah.
So it's like, so Gandalf didn't even have that. It wasn't. He was just repeating some phrase he heard from Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, I caught that too.
So, like, so Lord of the Rings, you're like, Like, so Gandalf is really not that smart. He's just a dumb guy who just repeats things he hears from people. He's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, by the way, some that deserve death deserve life, and some don't. I don't know. So it bothers me because it seems cheap. As a writer, I just feel like, yes, it does appease the crowd because you're like
Oh,
fan
that's where
service.
he
Like
got it
we love
from.
that line.
Yeah.
We love the line, but to me, it just seems cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like, if Tom said it to him, then it cheapens Gandalf's great wisdom in the actual movie where he said it like he came up with it like, some doesn't, anyway, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, it seems like if he had not thought of it on his own, it's like, well, maybe he learned the idea from Tom Bombadil, but now he just plagiarized Tom
Yeah.
Bombadil. Really?
Oh, did you notice though that Tom Bombadil did actually, when the tree was trying to swallow up dumb Gandalf, he said, "Drink water, drink deep," and he did the lines
Yeah.
that they'd given to Treebeard in the movies.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
Tom.
Yeah,
That was actually Tom Bombadil's lines.
yeah, I got
So
that.
yeah, that was kind of cool that we actually got to see Tom Bombadil say them.
Yeah, that's
instead
cool.
of-
I don't hate Tom Bombadil. I don't hate the guy. Also, I had a note here because I've been watching the Jake Paul and the Tyson fight, so I have to have notes to go by because I'm pretty effed up. But uh, it says here, I said here, Durin's dwarven wife is not a good singer. She's very annoying. Her singing is bad.
I agree.
She's annoying.
I can't remember her name.
Lisa. I guess her name's Lisa.
No, the name in the show.
I think it's Lisa.
It's Issa or something.
Lisa or Lisa.
It's not Lisa. I know that for sure. It's like Issa or something.
Isa or Lisa. But she's not a good singer. If she is, she's not singing it right.
Oh, yeah, when the dwarves are going into that one shaft and she's like, "Row!"
I'm like, that's bad. That's not pleasant. Who wants to hear that? So we're getting episode 7, my favorite episode.
Episode 7, Doomed to Die.
This is my favorite episode. Like, if we could have just kind of sped up things a lot and made more of the show like episode 7, it would have been entertaining. Celebron is played by Charles Edward. I think he did a good job as being under the spell of Sauron.
Oh, Celebrimbor?
Yeah, Celebrimbor. Yeah, I said it wrong. Celebrimbor. Yep. I just feel like his portrayal of this was really good. It was a really tragic scene, well directed, well scripted. I just enjoyed the whole idea of how he's under Sauron's illusions to make the Rings of Power for the active men.
Yeah.
But everything was going on. There was a war going on. Like, a lot of these episodes are just talking about stuff with one brief skirmish where there's no weight to anything, but this one had real weight. It felt like something was important was happening,
Right.
and you're a part of it. This was a great episode. Like, I enjoyed episode 7. Like, as much as I'm a critic of this series, episode 7 was well done. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Also, I feel like
They did a really good job making Celebrimbor look, when it did show him like he really looked, they did a really good job of making him look really run down and like,
yeah, and then he had the delusion that he was
he was
normal.
Yeah, it was normal, and then when you actually saw him, he was all dirty and weird looking and tired looking.
Because he's been working around the clock trying to make these rings, and then you see his whole forge being torn down.
Yeah.
I want to say that my initial reaction, Elrond is a poor general for letting his personal friendship rule over him when Galadriel was in that cage. But actually, I could see oh my god, you stopped the whole battle for one person in the cage. Or you'd be like, I love you. Goodbye. We're going to win the battle. But I will say this. I looked this up a little bit, but so Elrond, this is kind of nasty. I don't want to tell you this, hurt your feelings or anything. but Elrond is Galadriel's third cousin, and also that's his mother-in-law. So it's kind of incestuous, I guess, because he's kind of like flirting with her sometimes. So like, what are we supposed to take from that?
I don't know. Yeah, that's right. She does marry his. Yeah, he's well.
So
He's half elf.
oh, Elrond's half elf.
Hmm.
I did not know that. How?
I don't
didn't
know. I just know he's half. He's a half elf, and he's Elrond the half elf.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
his. I used to know when the movies first came out back in 2003, 2004. I actually looked at all the families and I knew them all, but Tolkien was just so detailed. You can't. It's impossible to remember all that. But I know that they're related. And I know that he's half elf, and
So what I looked up though was that Elrond's wife is Galadriel's daughter.
probably sounds right.
So that kind of makes kind of weird kind of
Well,
situation where he's flirting with his mother-in-law.
I think Celeborn is Galadriel's husband. And I think he's maybe a pure elf, like half elf brother. Or
I thought there was a different elf that was her husband, like a different Celeborn. Or
well,
something.
you're thinking of
I don't know.
Celebrimbor. I'm talking about Celeborn.
Celeborn, yeah.
Celeborn is a different guy than Celebrimbor.
He's not in the series.
No, he's not in the series. He was in the movies, but he's not in the series.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a great line that I thought Celebrimbor said, and I thought it was just really poetic when he looked at Sauron and he said, "You truly are the great deceiver. You can deceive even yourself."
Oh yeah,
I thought that was just a great line. As far as a line in the movie, I thought that was that was good prose. It was just really great. Like, good one-liner or two-liner.
and it made him more like the devil, basically,
Yeah, he definitely made
the
him
great
a devil.
deceiver,
Yeah.
like our devil. All right, and then finally, episode 8, Shadow and Flame.
I'm gonna see if there's anything else I had here. Let's see. No. When Celebrimbor was talking to Galadriel, he's like, light conquers darkness, or something like that. And the fight scene with the High King, Gilligad, I'd say right. Gilgalad was really good.
Yeah. Is that it? Is that
was
episode
good.
7?
I think it's episode 7. I want to say that.
Okay.
And I like the line that Adar said with to Elrond. He said, Elrond. He said, "Never make war in anger." I thought that was pretty smart line. I like that line. So maybe it's just little things that I kind of personally like. They're just little personal quirks. Episode 7 had my attention completely, which most of the series was a chore to go through.
Yeah.
Honestly. Episodes 1 through 5 to me were a chore. I'm sorry if they weren't, but episode 7 was like, I love this. And 8 didn't really hold up. I don't know. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just saying, I didn't have anything to say. I was just saying that it's the kind of the wrap up, kind of the, they had to kind of wrap some stuff up in the season, and but leave it open enough to move on to the next season.
Yeah.
So we get, of course, in episode 8, we get the Balrog, which looked like the movie Balrog, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, it had the same
exactly.
whip and everything, and
Durin dies
fighting the Balrog.
Balrog of Morgoth.
Yeah, and then they delved too deep, like they said.
But hey, but wasn't King Durin in The Hobbit? The old King Durin, I think there's an episode where it shows him in The Hobbit.
Yeah, but The Hobbit, I'm trying to think. The Hobbit...
And it's after this, because it's way after the Forging of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's at the fall of Mordor, or not Mordor.
Is the Hobbit in? What I'm trying to think of. Thorin. Is Thorin this Durin's? Because there's been like 10 Durins.
Okay, maybe it's a different Durin.
So
maybe.
I think it's probably a Durin down the line, because Thorin is the son of Thror, and Thror was like a son of Durin, And so
Yeah.
the Durin that you're thinking might be
I think maybe they used a different, the same actor though for that, but maybe that
it
was
might
for
it
Durin.
might be a
I think you're right. I think you're right. But I think the actor they
the
used was the
Durin in
same
the
Durin.
show might be the
Confused me.
old man, and that later
I think you're right. I think you're right. Keep going, man. I'm sorry about
okay.
that.
I mean, the thing is, we're trying to put lore to a show that doesn't really follow the lore.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing too is like this. The weird thing that I have is the Dark Wizard seems so much like Saruman, but this makes no sense
At
because
first,
he
I
was
thought
supposed to
it
be a
was
good guy.
Saruman. At first,
He's supposed to be a good guy. Saruman was a good guy in the
yeah,
beginning.
it was
So
corrupted
it's
by the
just
Palantir
is
and
but
Sauron.
is Gandalf just an idiot? Like, oh, he's a good guy.
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense.
You know who the actor that played was Siren? It was the guy who played the captain in The Terror.
Yes, yes, we watched that. Yeah, it's a great actor.
He was a
Yeah,
great actor. But at first, I thought that was Saruman, and then I thought, well, who is
he
this evil
seems like
wizard?
he is. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
He
it
might still be.
But you're right. Saruman was actually a good guy up until
He got corrupted.
he got corrupted because he started looking in the Palantir, and Sauron corrupted him.
Yeah.
So
But
that
also
happens
I'd say,
much
like,
later. Yeah.
I would just say like this season ended as much like it began. It's a mystery box. There's no real plot. It's like this is really bad discovery writing, except for you have tons of lore. So you have tons of lore to do it. But like as I'm writing, like if I at my worst, but if you have like content to begin with, where like if you're writing Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or I don't know Indiana Jones or something like that, but you're creating a prequel to that, but you're like just discovery writing it in the worst kind of way. That's kind of how it feels to me. It's like I am not the best writer in the world. I want to be. I love writing. But to me, I feel like the writing is just like, who chose this? Like there are moments where it's like season 7. I thought season 7 was great. Not season 7, episode 7. Sorry.
Well,
I really loved that episode.
well, when you're talking about a show or a movie, you're talking about in a movie not so much, but in a show, you're talking about a room of writers, and so there's a head writer and there's a bunch of other writers and they're writing stuff, and you might have a great idea and think, oh well, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't go that way, and then the head writer might veto you and say, yeah, we're going to still do this because it's cool, so there might be people that are like, well, this doesn't follow the lore, but all it takes is that one person to say, well, yes, we are. We're going to do this, and so it kind of negates. I think the writing by committee kind of shows in stuff like this, where
Yeah, probably.
where
so.
it's like, okay, if you had one person that was just getting feedback from the others, but one person was writing it like a movie script, it might have been better.
Yeah.
Than, you have this committee basically that's looking at the lore and everybody's having these ideas come in and, oh, that's a good idea. Let's put it on the board, kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think the problem too, like with like we don't even go there, but like if you look at the sequels of the original trilogy of Star Wars, you had 3 different directors, or you had 2 different directors, but they never followed each other's
Yeah,
lead.
they didn't have a
So like
plan
if you
for that.
want,
That was insane. I don't know why they did it that way.
yeah, you had. I mean, like you could have gone with something and be like, hey, we're gonna write. Even George Lucas
said,
wrote a trilogy.
Here's a treatment, and they're like, oh, a treatment, plunk, threw it out there.
Yeah, yeah. It's just the problem is like I feel like. Well, the bad thing about a prequel though is like you kind of have to know where it's going to end up if you read the other content. So there's no real whatchamacallit. It's got to be an old
Coherence.
word, but there's no suspense as how we know the rings of power are going to turn out. How there's one ring to rule them all. So none of that is.
Yeah, there's
I
some
did
really
feel
cool
like
stuff you could do with the rings, and they haven't done it yet. That's what I was trying to say at the beginning of this when I was doing the overarching thing. I was like, there's a lot of cool things they could do with the rings that I haven't seen them do yet. It's like the rings are secondary. It's called the rings of power, but it's like the rings are secondary.
Yeah, but I will say I really liked episode 7,
Yeah.
and I liked how the Celebrimbor part, Celebrimbor, whatever. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed how he tried to resist.
And I like the
making
actor that plays
ring for him.
Celebrimbor. Yeah.
I will say that none of the elven men seem masculine except for Don Lemon Legolas. Other than that, they seem kind of like. Look, I love the actor. Look, I'm flawed. I'm a flawed person. I watch the original trilogy like once a week, like kind of weird, kind of like a it's called self medicating, I guess. I watch Rings of Power. I watch the Fellowship of the Ring, the Two Towers, and my girlfriend can attest to this. We almost watch it every week. I really do. I just put it on when I'm going to sleep. And so I'm jaded. I am not. I'm a flawed individual. I'm
To the
not a
bridge of
good.
Captain Doom.
Exactly. It's like I'm like you shall not
You
pass,
shall not pass.
and I will say,
Gandalf.
you
Oh.
full of a took. Throw yourself in next time. But anyways, what I say is like, I feel like these stories to me have no weight to them. They're not something I want to rewatch. I did enjoy episode 7. Why I keep going back to episode 7 because it seemed like stakes were involved. It did seem like stakes were involved because there was a one chance where Celebrimbor knew like this is evil. I shouldn't make these rings. He's trying to fight against making them. There was some stakes. There were like, but the rest of the episodes were like, we don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. Watch to find out. And I gotta say, like, Sir Ian, what's his name? The guy who plays Magneto and
Sir Ian McKellen.
Gandalf. He should be like, I'm sure, like, I would love to know what he thinks about dumb Gandalf. I'd be like, God, I'd be like, I wouldn't
Well,
think
I
he would
like
like
the
this.
actor that plays dumb Gandalf, but his character is so dumb.
Yeah, and I feel like the Irish hobbits who help him out, the Sherfoots, they don't do anything at the end. They just kind of, hey, we're gonna go off
Yeah, and that
now.
was kind of goofy that they were like, "We're gonna leave," and
Good luck.
thank you, Grand Elf. Thank you, Grand Elf. Oh, my name is Gandalf.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they
yeah.
kept calling him Grand Elf there at the end, and that somehow was supposed to, I guess, go into become Gandalf.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say the weird thing. I was happy to see Tom Bombadil
Tom
just because
Bombadil, Tom
he was
Bombadillo.
deleted. It made no sense. His appearance barely made no sense, but still, I was happy to see him. It just tied in the weirdest way that didn't make any sense, but
My
still,
friends and I, we used to play Lord of the Rings online, and Tom Bombadil's in that. And when you come up on Tom Bombadil, he's like, "Hey, do, Mary, do." So one of my friends, I thought it was me, but it might have been my friend. He said, "Hey, do, Mary, do, my bitches." And so we've been saying that for years. That's why I said it earlier, because it's just every time we think of Tom Bombadil, I think of, "Hey, do, Mary, do, my bitches,
yeah.
my bitches."
I gotta tell you right now, Cleve. I think this is gonna be our best watched podcast or our most deleted podcast. I don't know.
Probably.
Like, okay, so you probably see me a little buzzed tonight, and I'm not buzzed. I'm effed up. But anyways,
Hey, do, Mary,
um,
do, my bitches.
I I would just say like I enjoyed the build up to the Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah.
It was like anticlimactic. Really, I mean, what else were you thinking was gonna happen? And you know,
You know, I
the Rings of Power was episode 7 was good. There was, in my opinion, it's that episode is that series is 1 and 7.
yeah,
If you like it,
I
great.
really wish.
But if you don't think of it as Tolkien, I think it's okay. If you don't think of it as Tolkien, it's okay. But if you really try to think of that as Tolkien, like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's confusing
Well,
as
now
hell.
if I knew you were going to be drinking through the fight and everything, I should have sent out for some beer myself, and that way we could have had the drunken podcast. It would.
We can always do it
Yeah, we
next
could do it
time.
next time.
Trust
That'd,
me.
it'd be kind of fun, I think. Trying not to slur and things. 'Cause I feel out of place now. I feel like
It's okay. You're a
I'm the straight man.
literary English genius, so you know how
Mm.
to like do. By the way, he's got. If you want to learn how to write properly, this guy's got some courses, some workbooks. Can teach you how to do grammar that I don't even know about because I don't know about grammar. I just write.
Well,
You know.
I always tell my students the story comes first, so you can always get someone
Yeah.
to help you fix the grammar, but the story is what's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
It always is.
I do. I work on the story, and then I do grammar last, but it is
Yeah.
what it is. Well, anyways, by the way, I'm gonna send you links to Brothers of Chaos Part 1 and 2 on Audible because I want you to, Cleave. Can I get you here on camera
Mhm.
in front of millions of people who watch us every day to
Commit.
to commit to listening to these audiobooks and tell me what
Yeah,
you think
I
about them?
will.
I think they're really good. I really think the first part. Actually, I want to continue it, but it's just like Amazon's intent in screwing narrators and authors. So I don't know what to do. If I want to keep doing it, it's just like doing it for free, I guess.
Oh,
I don't
and
know.
I will say on this podcast too, if anybody's interested in Gunpowder Magic and Lead, listening to audio, I am going to do probably the AI voice, but I go through and I make sure that it pronounces everything correctly, and that it
Yeah.
doesn't do weird stuff. So if anybody reads, I have two audiobooks from them. One with the Harrowing Path, which is my epic, and I have Red Mage Ascending in audio. If you guys are worried about buying those or listening to those, don't, because I actually go through word by word and make sure everything's pronounced correctly and make sure that there's no weird sentences and that the AI doesn't go off into some weird tangent. You know, it's reading a line like, "We walked down the street and there we found the other." You know, AI does that sometimes, and but anyway, I go through mine, so I'll probably do that with Gunpowder Magic and Lead when I get time. So, what did you think about Gunpowder Magic and Lead for real? Now that I've got you kind of tipsy.
I actually wrote a whole freaking review about it on my website, AmericanHulrik.com, and I really enjoyed the series. And it kind of reminded me of the Wild Wild West, you know, that old show.
I love that movie,
but
that
with
show.
with wizards and with seductive women who have special powers. It was a good series. So good. So I want to get to the next episode. I'm really excited about it, and I have some questions about certain characters that I will not mention here on live.
Okay.
But I will say that I loved it. I enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
I can't wait for the next book. I really did. It was very enjoyable, easy to read, easy to go through, a fast read. So if you want a fast read, check out Gunpowder Magic and Lead. If you like westerns and mages and magicians and stuff, it's not magicians, but wizards. It's really good.
Thanks.
But I will say there's this one character that I cannot speak of on this podcast. What happens to her is a crime against humanity. Sorry. By the way, our next episode, we're going to talk about a movie called The Substance.
The Substance?
Or Substance. I don't know what it's called.
Okay. I need to watch it.
Check
I
it
haven't
out.
watched it yet, so I will watch it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway,
it's on Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix. It has to be a Netflix or Hulu, but one of those.
All right.
Anyways, thanks for staying up late with me, Cleave. It's the midnight review, and it is what it is, and we're still doing this. I hope you guys please like and subscribe, share this to whomever.
I promise my beard will be back.
His beard will be back one day.
It actually goes pretty fast.
I got a little bit of length on him on my chin, but not on the side. So
I will.
It's all good.
I grow beards like crazy, so I will outpace you.
I always regret trimming my beard.
Yeah, I regret trimming mine too, but it was driving me crazy.
Yeah.
It wasn't driving me crazy. Yeah. It was getting pretty long. It was like down to here. So.
Look, Cleave, I'm gonna tell you right now. It's one man to another man. That's what attracted me to you first.
It was my
Cleave.
beard.
Your beard. I was like, I'm in love with that beard, brother.
It's full Santa.
It was a glorious
full Santa.
It was a glorious beard. Don't think of it like that. Think of it like a Gandalf beard, not a Santa beard.
Well, it'll be back. I mean, this is only a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. No harm done. It grows back. It's gonna be the greatest beard ever.
It was a little bit,
the most fantastic beard ever made.
It was a bit.
It's gonna be Cleve's beard.
It was a bit uneven. That's why I shaved it. If anybody was wondering, it was a bit uneven, and I really wanted to.
Yeah. That's what we do. We shave our beards when they're uneven, and then we're like, "Oh my god,
what did I do?" Off. Yeah.
What I did? Okay. Anyways, guys, please like and subscribe to this channel. By the way, Cleave, I'm gonna start a new series probably on your YouTube channel about it's called Flop at the Box.
Coming up soon.
So if you like us talking about movie reviews, we're gonna talk about movies that didn't make it at the box office,
but are super popular now.
Smashed it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I can't wait to do that with you, man. And excuse me for
Like some previews. Some previews would be like Shawshank Redemption, Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Lots of them. Lots of movies you don't think were flops.
Big Troubles in Little
Yeah,
China.
yeah. Big Trouble in Little
Or I think
Big
it
Trouble
was.
in Little China was a flop. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Tremors.
Labyrinth.
Was one. Tremors.
Yeah.
Tremors was a flop, but it's a cult classic now. So there's a lot of them like that.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
many of them.
Yes. And we'll get to all of them and more. And we're going to talk about the next book in Gunpowder, Magic, and Lead very soon, because I'm excited to read that one coming up.
That's what I'm working on now.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week, or sooner than that as possible. So thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for coming on, Cleave.
Yep,
Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to the Merick NH Ulrik podcast. Please like and subscribe to this channel. We'll see you next week. Thank you.